All right, let's go from the champions to the league leaders now. Liverpool are 4 points clear at the top with the game in hand, of course, and they go to Brentford.
I think Liverpool has done fantastic this season. I think they are the best performing team, or have been the best performing team this season. They are top of the league, quite comfortable. They are favourite to the title.
Brentford was my first Premier League game, I think, and then I already thought like, oof. If this is going to be the resistance we get every week, then it's going to be then this is a more difficult league than the Eredivisie, which I knew before I came, but it was proven that day as well.
And they go into this game in a strong position, of course, unbeaten in 16. They've been top of the table for over 2 months. I just wonder, though, 4 draws in the last 6 games. Has their grip of top spot weakened of late?
I mean, it seems that way. I mean, Nottingham Forest midweek, Mo Salah probably had one of his worst games of the season, and when that happened,
He was very quiet.
He was, and that's okay. It happens, you know. As a class player like he is, he's going to have moments. I think Nottingham Forest right now, people are talking about them potentially doing a Leicester. I don't quite see that yet, but they're in incredible form, and I know you won't like that, Manish. Chris Wood, and
I don't know what you mean.
Substitution. I mean, they scored after Tsimikas gets the assist. You know, Diego Jota gets the goal 28 seconds. I don't think we've ever seen
22 seconds.
22 seconds. Like, I don't think we've ever seen anything like it. And I think with Liverpool, I personally think they will win the league. But what I will say is that they still don't look like they're running away with it. Do you know what I mean? There's still some type of fragilities in that team.
What do you think, Darren?
I think it speaks to the strength of the Premier League that even though they did have that lead for so long, they look as though they're faltering. But also you'd expect it as well because of the strength of the Premier League. And sometimes we do this a lot as fans. A team is streaking clear in December, we kind of declare the race over.
It has been though, Darren, hasn't it, with Man City?
Well,
like, it's more or less been done the last 3 seasons.
Where they normally come alive in December and then start to streak away over the subsequent months, whereas as far as Liverpool are concerned, they were so far clear and they had the opportunity to go, I think it was 11 points clear, but they faltered against Manchester United. What I do think, very uncharacteristically for Liverpool, is that perhaps they started to believe in that publicity a bit because everybody expected them to slaughter Manchester United and they didn't at home, and they surrendered 2 points. And then, of course, in the League Cup away to Tottenham, who were so poor against Arsenal, they fell behind. And this is not the normal Liverpool. So even though they're in a good place, I think their grip is weakening at the moment, and it will take a really strong performance at a really difficult place to go. Only Liverpool and Arsenal have got similar records to Brentford at home.
Yeah.
I think they won 7 of their 9 games at home so far this season. Liverpool do have a terrific away record.
Yeah, but they're unbeaten away, yeah.
Exactly, but they're up against Wissa. They're up against Mbeumo. And those two have both scored goals for fun. They're the only 2 players in the league that have scored, you know, as a pairing, as many goals that they have done.
And no one's even talking about the fact they lost Ivan Toney because those two are doing well for Brentford.
Yeah. Actually, talking of which, Wissa has now become Brentford's top Premier League goal scorer, overtaking Ivan Toney. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves.
Well, the talk is that Arsenal have an interest in him. It'll be interesting to see if they pursue that, given that they do need a striker by the end of this window. But as far as he's concerned, I almost think back to when Thierry Henry left Arsenal and Nicolas Anelka really did come alive. And I wonder if Tony leaving Brentford has allowed both those players, actually, Mbeumo and Wissa, to get their confidence. You've been a striker, you know far better than I do.
I was always the main one, though. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. No, but I know what you're saying. Like, sometimes, look at Tottenham when Harry Kane left. Initially, you know, it looked like Harry Kane's probably thinking, I should have stayed there because they were playing free-flowing football. I think, from my experience, when a top player leaves, everybody else gives that extra 10, 15% because they can't rely upon that player.
It's a collective thing.
Whereas you'd think they just capitulate and think they've lost this massive player. But what's the link with Wissa going to Arsenal? Like, how much are we talking? You're the person in the know, Dan.
What, in terms of how much it costs?
Yeah.
Oh, it costs easily in excess of 60, 70 million pounds.
Interesting.
He's been a terrific player for them. He's key to what they're trying to do. They'd be trying to take him mid-season. They'd be justified in asking for that much money.
Are you talking about January?
Talking about January, yeah. The interest is there. But I think as far as Wissa is concerned, he's playing with so much more confidence now. He's doing that because he's playing with a Brentford team that know him, know his game. It would be very different if he were to go elsewhere. He'd be stepping up a level, there'd be more pressure on him, and suddenly you're looking at a very different player. You know, can you respond to that? But as far as Brentford are concerned, what he has done for them is show that he does have that ability, and I think they're going to be very, very difficult for Liverpool.
Credit to Thomas Frank as well, because I think he's a manager that I think whatever team you support, you always enjoy watching him, you know, his press conferences when he's talking, and I think what he's done with that team is unbelievable. Because you look at the players they've got, like
look at the players they haven't got.
Yes.
I mean, they've got 6 or 7 injured. By the way, you know, Hickey, Pinnock, they've been, you know, a lot of their defence, Ayer as well.
Losing Raya as well.
Yeah, but even then, he still manages to grind out results. The one against City, the comeback was terrific.
Well, that was the reason why I thought that was significant that you played that right at the start, because you picked that, didn't you? And that showed real character. That showed that they are there. You know, sometimes you can have a great record, and as soon as you play one of the superpowers, suddenly it falls apart. But suddenly they were 2 goals down. They could easily have thrown in the towel, but they fight their way back to 2-2. Terrific result for them, and a warning to Liverpool as well.
Yeah, talking of Liverpool, Mo Salah and the report situation, you've already spoken briefly about that. Will the City Haaland news, you know, almost prompt them into announcing 1 or 2 things? What is the latest on that, Darren? What do you know?
I don't think that the Haaland thing can prompt them, because I think there are 2 very different sets of circumstances. Haaland's 24, Salah's 32, 33. And I think as far as Salah's concerned, everybody knows what he can do, but it's on a huge amount of money that they don't want to have to commit to by the time he's 35. He's 32 at the moment.
Do you know what I said on the show 2 weeks ago? Give that man whatever he wants. Because
Would you still say that? Would it make fiscal sense to give him what he wants, and he's on that money?
100%.
Well, there are lots of players.
I heard it was a 1+1 perhaps in the offing.
It could be, but the problem is for Liverpool is that they will have looked around the Premier League and saw Aubameyang, they would have seen Ozil, they would have seen so many other players, Alexis Sanchez, Wayne Rooney in his last contract at Manchester United, and they would have said to themselves, do we want to anchor ourselves financially to a player? Listen, he keeps himself in outstanding physical condition. Let's not kid ourselves, and no need to write.
And he's still one of the best in the world, Darren. Like, he's still one of the best in the world. Like,
but he is now.
Yeah.
And they will have data. You know that they will have data that we are not party to. How will he look in 18 months' time? How will he be in 2 years' time?
Sometimes that's to come a little bit of loyalty, though.
Yeah.
You do have to consider that. I'm not writing the money for the checkbook, you know what I mean? But I just think, like, who can you get right now? Who can Liverpool get in that will do what he does next season and the season after that? No. He will guarantee you double digits. He'll guarantee you goals. And when he's not playing well, Liverpool look like a different team.
Yeah.
So who would they get instead of him?
Well, everyone said that about Kane. And Spurs now, they're second highest scorers in the Premier League at the moment.
Yeah, but look where they are in the league. Come on.
That's because they can't defend.
Darren, I think you've lost that argument.
Yes,